Tonight on The Hero's Journey, Getting There is Half the Fun, we delve into the intricacies of the ubiquitous 12-step pattern found in all hero tales. The hero's journey is a pattern that many stories follow. It tells the tale of an ordinary person who is introduced into a strange and different world by an extraordinary event. The pattern includes 12 stages and 6 archetypes. This pattern is present in the cinematic retelling of Emmett Brakowski's courageous adventure against Lord Business called The Lego Movie, and in the Disney animated film Hercules. In the beginning of The Lego Movie, the town of Bricksburg is shown. Bricksburg is a modern-looking town with people who are very mainstream, meaning that they all like the same things. The movie starts with Emmett, our hero, waking up and following his instructions on how to fit in. We find out in this first scene that Emmett's wish is to fit in and be accepted. There is then a montage of the citizens of Bricksburg starting their day. The montage shows how everyone in the city does everything the same and likes the same things. For example, everyone enjoys buying overpriced coffee, driving in a very uniform way, and listening to a song called Everything is Awesome. In the hero's journey, this part of the story is called The Ordinary World. In Hercules, this stage is shown when the hero Hercules is living with his adoptive parents. He also feels like a misfit because of his strength. In both movies, the villains are introduced before this stage while executing the first stages of their evil plan. As well, both Hercules and Emmett are misfits in their lives, not particularly liked and definitely not popular with people.
Yes! Drop off dry cleaning before noon, read the headlines, don't forget to smile, always root for the local sports team.
Go sports team!
Always return a compliment. Hey, you look nice.
So do you.
Drink overpriced coffee.
There you go. That's $37.
Awesome!
Everything is awesome.
Did you see where are my pants last night?
Classic episode.
Everything is awesome.
The next stage in the hero's journey is called the Call to Adventure. This is when the hero first learns of the other world in which our story takes place. In the Lego Movie, this happens when Emmett finds the piece of resistance, is captured by Bad Cop, then saved by Wildstyle. This is also when we meet the second and third archetypes. Wildstyle is the herald for this story. She is the one who leads Emmett unknowingly to the piece of resistance and also informs Emmett of the prophecy. Wildstyle is the one who tells Emmett about the master builders, Lord Business, our villain, and his evil plan. We also meet Bad Cop, our shapeshifter. He is the shapeshifter because he literally has multiple personality disorder when he changes between good cop and bad cop, which he can do by turning his head around. In Hercules, this stage is present when Hercules finds out that he was found by his parents and that medallion that was around his neck when he was found has something to do with the gods. He then decides that he must now go to the temple of Zeus to find the answers. Zeus then tells him that he is Hercules, his father, and that in order to join him and his mother Hera, Hercules will have to become a true hero, thus beginning his journey to become a god and take his rightful place on Mount Olympus. Hercules doesn't learn of the villain Hades' evil plan until the 5th stage.
Hercules, there's something your mother and I have been meaning to tell you.
But if you found me, then where did I come from? Why was I left here?
This was around your neck when we found you. It's the symbol of the gods.
This is it! Don't you see? Maybe they have the answers. I'll go to the Temple of Zeus and... Pop, you're the greatest parents anyone could have, but... I gotta know.
Once Emmett finds out that he is the special and that he will have to be a master builder to save the world, he becomes frightened. This stage is called the refusal of the call. and happens very quickly. This stage happens at the end of the chase sequence on the motorcycle, and when Emmett and Wildstyle first arrive in the Old West. This is where the Threshold Guardian comes into play. In the Lego Movie, the Threshold Guardian comes in two forms. First of all, in Wildstyle, she doesn't believe that Emmett could be the Special because he is not a master builder. This belief leads Wildstyle to tell Emmett that he cannot be the Special. The other form that the Threshold Guardian appears in is Emmett's fear of not following the instructions. To be a master builder, one must use his instincts and create things from his mind. This scares Emmett because all his life he has depended on the instructions to tell him what to do and how to fit in. For Hercules, this stage comes very quickly when Zeus is telling Hercules of his godly lineage. His denial is that he doesn't believe that he could be a god at first. Also, the giant statue coming to life understandably scares him. This is where our first trickster comes in, Pegasus. Pegasus is the pet that Hercules receives when he is a baby, but hasn't seen since he was a child. This childhood memory convinces Hercules of the truth.
Whirly hole? Are you insane?
Don't break! Go! Don't stop! Go now!
I can't do this! That is against the instructions!
Wait, what's your favorite restaurant?
Any chain restaurant.
Favorite TV show?
Where are my pants?
Favorite song?
Everything is awesome!
Oh no.
The next stage in Emmett's journey is when he meets Vitruvius. Vitruvius is Emmett's mentor, meaning that we have reached the part of the journey called Meeting of the Mentor. This is the part of the story when our hero starts to overcome his fear. Our mentor Vitruvius is the catalyst to this change because he is the one who tries to believe in Emmett. During the scene when our mentor and hero meet, Vitruvius convinces Emmett to try and create something from scratch, and when that doesn't work, offers to train him to be a master builder. The mentor in Hercules is Philoctetes, or Phil. Hercules finds Phil on an island and convinces Phil to train him. As well as being Hercules' mentor, Phil is also the first Threshold Guardian for Hercules, because if it were not for Zeus, Phil would never have agreed to help Hercules train to be a hero, meaning his journey would never have happened. Both mentors are sarcastic but helpful. They both teach the hero the skills he will need to know for the upcoming ordeals.
Too old to get mixed up in this stuff again. But if I don't become a true hero, I'll never be able to rejoin my father, Zeus. Hold it. Zeus is your father, right? Uh-huh. Zeus, the big guy, is your daddy. Mr. Lightning Bolt, read me a book, would you, Dada? Zeus, once upon a time. It's the truth. Please.
After our hero meets the mentor, we reach the stage called Crossing the Threshold. This is the part of the story where the hero commits to his new role in this strange world. This scene in the Lego Movie takes place during the second chase scene, when Bad Cop and his team are chasing our trio out of the Old West. Emmett's commitment to his new role is shown when he tries to think outside of the box. During this chase scene, the wagon that Emmett, Wildstyle, and Vitruvius are on starts to break apart. This is where Emmett is put to the test. Emmett must build a wheel out of the Lego pieces he has in front of him. After having some troubles thinking outside of the box, he finally uses his head. Literally. This stage in Hercules occurs when Hercules is training with Phil. Hercules matures and grows during this part, and, in turn, he commits to being the hero he needs to be. We also meet the shapeshifter in this stage. While heading to the city of Thebes, Hercules comes across a young maiden who is struggling with a monster. Hercules puts his training to use and saves her. The young maiden is Megara, or Meg. She is our shapeshifter in this story. She is a slave to Hades, but falls in love with Hercules. We also find out that Hades is the second Threshold Guardian who is trying to make it so Hercules fails and doesn't become a true hero and thwart his evil plans. Both heroes in this case have issues following the instructions their mentors have given and think outside of the box, and in both cases literally use their head to combat the danger ahead.
Come on, kid, concentrate! Use your head!
This next stage in our hero's journey is when he meets the rest of his allies. It is called Tests, Allies, and Enemies. This stage occurs when Emmett reaches Cloud Cuckoo Land. Here he meets the rest of the Master Builders who will be his allies and friends for the coming trials. This is also when he is first tested as a leader. When the Master Builders find out that he is not a Master Builder, Emmett makes a speech to try and convince them to believe in him. The speech ends with chaos and yet another fight scene. This is when our hero finds out who the majority of his allies will be, i.e. Batman, and our two tricksters, Unikitty and Ben. Cloud Cuckoo Land is also where we meet a soon-to-be ally, Metalbeard, who will be an ally against Lord Business. During this scene, when the group is trying to get away, they must build a submarine. This is when Emmett realizes that the way the Master Builders work together isn't effective and needs to change. The Tests, Allies, and Enemies stage in Hercules occurs over a prolonged amount of time. It starts during Hercules' date with Meg. This is where he starts to trust Meg and fall for her. His faith in Meg and friendship with Phil is put to the test when Phil learns of Meg's deception. When Hercules is told of this betrayal by Phil, Hercules doesn't believe it and loses Phil because of it. This is when Hades comes to make Hercules give up his strength for 24 hours and threatens Meg to make it so. This is when Hercules learns that Meg has been helping Hades all along.
So if ye think it be a good idea to return to that forsaken place special, what idea have ye that be better than the ideas of 100 of our fallen Master Builder brothers?
Well, technically I'm not exactly a Master Builder yet.
What?
Please, everyone, please. Rubbish. Yes, it's true. I may not be a Master Builder. I may not have a lot of experience fighting or leading or coming up with plans or having ideas in general. In fact, I'm not all that smart. And I'm not what you'd call a creative type. Plus, generally unskilled. Also, scared and cowardly. I know what you're thinking. He is the least qualified person in the world to lead us. And you are right.
This is supposed to make us feel better.
Well, there was about to be a but.
You're a butt!
When Emmett sees the issue with the Master Builder's way of doing things, he devises a plan to storm Lord Business's tower. This is when Emmett really accepts his leadership role and realizes what he has to do to help them succeed. This stage in the hero's journey in which this takes place is Approach to the Inmost Cave. This is when the hero prepares for major change. In Emmett's case, this change is becoming a leader and going up against a major force. The Inmost Cave, in this case, is Lord Business's tower. This is where Emmett will have to face his fears and fully commit to being the hero. This moment of change in Hercules is when Hercules is without his strength and realizes he has to fight the Cyclops. He realizes that he has to cope without his incredible strength, yet still save the city. Both heroes mentioned have to deal with new conditions and the changing of allies and friendships.
You're supposed to follow the instructions, remember?
Sorry. Oh, this gives me the jeebies.
What do I even... I can't...
Nice. Step 2. We pilot the ship to the service entrance so we can get past the dangerous, but also kind of cool, laser gate.
Space ID.
I have a drive on.
Who are you here to see?
I'm here to see your butt.
Is that last name Bud, first name your, or is... Oh my gosh!
Pow. Wham. Kazap. First try.
Now we've reached the 8th stage in the hero's journey, the ordeal. This is when the hero has to face a big change and has the feelings of life or death. In the Lego movie, Emmett breaks into Lord Business's tower with the help of his allies and is faced with many challenges. While breaking in, there's the fear of being caught and frozen hanging over their heads. This test of the hero's courage and skill happens in Hercules when he has to fight the Cyclops without his strength. Since he has used his strength as a crutch for his whole life, and whenever he has fought a monster in the past, he now has to use his brains and training to try and survive. At the beginning of this fight against the Cyclops, Hercules gets badly beaten because he's fighting like he would if he had his strength, and not with the training he has. In both of these instances, the hero is having to do something he's never done before and think on his feet.
Hercules! Phil. Come on, kid, come on, fight back. Come on, you can take this bum. This guy's a pushover, look at him.
You were right all along, Phil. Dreams are for rookies.
No, kid. Giving up is for rookies. I came back because I'm not quitting on you. I'm willing to go the distance. How about you?
We bite off heads!
Whoa, baby!
Hercules, look out!
Meg!
This next stage is a very important one for the hero's journey. This is the part of the journey where the hero fully accepts what this life has in store and the risks and responsibilities it entails. In the Lego Movie, this happens when Emmett has been captured in Lord Business's tower. His mentor, Vitruvius, has just been killed, and now he has to save the whole Lego universe somehow. He then risks his life by jumping off the edge of the tower into the nothingness to go after the piece of resistance. He is prompted to do this by the faith the Master Builders have in him. In Hercules, this happens when Hercules leaves Meg after she has been crushed by the stone column because he has to go save the gods from the Titans that Hades has released. This is the point where he realizes that if he stays with Meg to try and save her, then Hades will win and take over Mount Olympus. He realizes that if Hades succeeds, then the whole world would be in danger. These two heroes are both faced with the choice of whether to stay where they are and try to save themselves and the one they love, or risk their lives to save the whole world or universe. Both Emmett and Hercules must make the tough decision to leave the people they care about behind to fend for themselves, while they, the heroes, risk their lives for the greater good.
28, Mississippi. 27, Mississippi. 26, Mississippi. 25, Mississippi. 34, Mississippi.
Emmett! What are you...
Lucy!
Wait, what are you...
Now it's your turn to be the hero.
No!
See you later, alligator.
Don't! No, Emmett!
6, Mississippi. 5, Mississippi. 4, Mississippi. 3, Mississippi. 2, Mississippi. 1, Mississippi. 0, Mississippi. Error. Termination failure.
Emmett! No.
After the heroes risk their lives in a way that they haven't had to before, they are faced with a new mission and danger. This stage is called The Road Back. For Emmett, this occurs when he is sent into the real world by falling into the nothingness. Here he has to find a way to get the piece of resistance back to the Lego universe to save everyone. He is faced with the added danger of the man upstairs and not getting back in time. He must find a way to get the little boy's attention to get back to save everyone. This stage is present in Hercules when he has finished fighting Hades at Mount Olympus and remembers that Meg is dying. When she dies, he decides to go after Hades to try and get her back. Even though the big battle is over for Hercules, he goes to save Meg from Hades, risking his life once again. Both heroes are facing a new type of danger in this stage. They both find themselves in a new situation and find out how to deal with it.
It's up to you now.
This next stage, stage 11, is called the Resurrection. This part of the hero's journey is when the hero is faced with last-minute danger. In Emmett's journey, this happens when he returns from our world with the piece of resistance. He has to fight and build his way back to Lord Business's office at the top of the tower and use it to stop the Craggle. This means he has to go through the micromanagers. Once he reaches Lord Business's tower, he tells Lord Business that everyone is special and should be allowed to live how they want. Moved by the speech, Lord Business puts the piece of resistance on the Craggle and sets everyone free. This moment of danger and triumph happens to Hercules when he goes after Meg. To save Meg from Hades, Hercules must go after her in a swirling pool of the dead that, if stayed in too long, can kill the living by speeding up their aging. Caring only about saving Meg and not about the risks, Hercules dives in to save Meg, almost dying, yet coming out victorious in the end and saving Meg. In both of these movies, the hero was faced with danger all on his own and ended up coming up the champion.
Oh, you know what slipped my mind? You'll be dead before you can get to her. That's not a problem, is it?
Won't cut. This is impossible. You can't be alive. You'd have to be a god. Hercules, stop! You can't do this to me. You can't.
The final stage in this pattern, called the hero's journey, is called Return with the Elixir. This is when the hero is rewarded with something. In the case of the Lego movie, Emmett's reward is that he gains the power of a master builder. In this movie, it happens during the events of the Resurrection stage. When he returns from our world with the piece of resistance, he has this special power and uses it to defeat the micromanagers and Lord Business. In Hercules, this reward comes in two ways. First of all, it comes in Hercules finally becoming a god after saving Meg. At first, this thrills Hercules, but when faced with the possibility of never being with Meg, he refuses his godhood, the thing he's been working for years to achieve. This is where the second reward comes in. Hercules is rewarded with the wisdom to choose love over power and to stay with Meg instead of getting the glory of being a god. Both heroes were rewarded with the power and with wisdom that they didn't have before.
Fine work, my boy. You've done it. You're a true hero.
You were willing to give your life to rescue this young woman?
For a true hero isn't measured by the size of his strength, but by the strength of his heart. Now at last, my son, you can come home.
Congratulations, Wonder Boy. You'll make one heck of a god.
Father, this is the moment I've always dreamed of. But a life without Meg, even an immortal life, would be empty. I wish to stay on Earth with her. I finally know where I belong.
Thank you for joining us tonight for the broadcast premiere of The Hero's Journey. Getting there is half the fun, where we explored the 12-step pattern of the hero's journey in film and literature. Tonight's stirring documentary has been brought to you by Duplo, endless fun in small hands, and Disney's upcoming live-action retelling of the classic fairy tale, Cinderella. Make sure you tune in next week when we will examine the genre of the monster movie. We will explore 3 classic movies, King Kong, Eight-Legged Freaks, and the upcoming summer blockbuster, Dogzilla! Ah!